British Airways should have been the customer that saved the 747. At its peak, BA flew 57,747,400s, more than any airline on Earth. It had the crews, the hangars, the heritage. Boeing was so confident it built a detailed 747-8 scale model in BA colors and parked it right inside BA's engineering offices, a daily reminder of what looked inevitable. The world's biggest 747 operator buying the newest, most advanced version ever built. But BA didn't just walk away, the airline flatly rejected it, and that single decision didn't just kill Boeing's dream sale, it doomed the last passenger queen of the skies before it ever really had a chance. So why did the perfect customer say no? And how did one rejection from London signal the end of Boeing's most iconic jet? First, let's understand what the 747 meant to British Airways. The plane wasn't just another aircraft for British Airways, it was their literal identity. From the moment BA was founded and started flying jumbos in the 1970s, the 747 became synonymous with British prestige, those iconic liveries, the predecessor's bold BOAC colors, the elegant lander scheme, the sophisticated NUS design, they all looked perfect, wrapped around that distinctive 747 silhouette. Walk through Heathrow Terminal 3 in the 2000s and you'd see the lineup. BA jumbos queuing for takeoff. New York, Los Angeles, Tokyo, the golden age of premium long-haul travel, and BA owned it completely. 57,747,400s at their peak. These aircraft carried the flag. They embodied everything BA represented as Britain's national carrier. When you look at British Airways walking away from the 747-8, it wasn't emotion, it was proportional reasoning. The airline compared range, capacity, and fuel burn and realized the numbers just didn't balance. That kind of thinking, weighing trade-offs, and understanding relationships between variables is exactly what today's sponsor, Brilliant, helps you master. Brilliant turns maths and science into interactive lessons that actually make sense. You're not watching lectures, you're exploring ideas, sliding variables, testing ratios, and seeing how systems behave when one factor changes. Their course proportional reasoning is one of my favorites. It teaches you how to see patterns the way engineers, pilots, and analysts do. How one small change in input can reshape the whole outcome. It's the same logic airlines rely on when they decide between $2 billion aircraft programs. You can learn anywhere at your own pace, and it's genuinely fun. To start learning for free, visit brilliant.org/planecurious or scan the QR code on screen. You'll also get 20% off Brilliant's premium annual subscription, giving you unlimited access to everything. When people thought of British Airways, they thought of that upper deck window pattern cutting through the clouds. But here's what made BA even more attractive to Boeing. Operational mastery. Their maintenance crews knew these aircraft inside and out. Pilots were 747 experts. Ground handling was optimized for jumbo operations. BA had built its entire long-haul infrastructure around the 747. From Boeing's perspective, this was a customer pre-built for the 747-8. But there was a problem brewing that neither company fully understood yet. By 2005, when Boeing launched the 747-8 program, the airline industry was quietly transforming. Hub and spoke systems that favored massive aircraft were giving way to point-to-point service. Passengers preferred frequency over capacity. 3 daily flights on smaller aircraft beat 1 flight on a jumbo every single time. More importantly, fuel prices were climbing. The era of cheap jet fuel was ending forever. Boeing designed the 747-8i as the perfect solution. Take everything great about the 747-400, stretch it longer, add 787 Dreamliner engine technology and wings, and deliver better fuel efficiency than the 747-400 with greater capacity, a cheaper alternative to the massive Airbus A380. The pitch seemed bulletproof. Boeing's sales team went beyond presentations. They made it personal. Boeing was saying, "This is your aircraft. This is meant to be yours." The technical case looked strong too. The 747-8 offered longer range for new route possibilities, more cargo capacity for additional revenue. Boeing's GEnx engines that would become proven on the 787 program. Most importantly, BA could leverage its existing 747 expertise. The transition costs would be minimal compared to switching aircraft families entirely. Boeing thought it had this locked up, but while the sales team were polishing that scale model, BA's finance department was running different calculations. Here's where Boeing's perfect pitch hit an immovable object: airline economics. The Boeing 737-30000ER was delivering lower seat mile costs than the 747-8i could ever achieve. The brutal math. The 747-8i carried around 140 more passengers than the TRIP 7300, but burned significantly more fuel with 4 engines instead of 2. The difference, 515 versus 370 in typical 3-class configurations. According to Boeing, these economics reshaped BA's choice completely. The TRIP 77-300ER's seat mile cost significantly lower than the 747-8i's leveraged twin-engine efficiency to deliver similar capacity with less fuel and maintenance. In an era of climbing fuel prices, that difference wasn't marginal, it was costly. 2 engines meant half the maintenance complexity, half the potential for engine-related delays, half the crew training requirements. The TRIP 77-300ER could fly virtually any route the 747-8i could serve, but do it cheaper and more profitably. The upcoming 787 Dreamliner promised even better economics on thinner routes. Boeing kept pushing the 747-8i's advantages: more cargo capacity, longer range, prestigious brand recognition. But BA's finance department had already made its decision. The Queen of the Skies was being dethroned by cold, hard numbers. Here's where Boeing's strategy completely unraveled. BA didn't reject large aircraft entirely. They actually ordered 12 Airbus A380s for its highest density routes: London to Los Angeles, London to Hong Kong, Johannesburg too. The A380 became the airline's new flagship, its prestige symbol, the marketing differentiator. This rejection echoed wider trends in the market. Airbus split the jumbo market with A380s dominating high-density routes, and A350-787 twins offering efficiency, leaving no room for the 747-8i and BH strategy. The 747-8i was now squeezed from both directions. More efficient twins below, and the game-changing A380 above. There was no space left in BA strategy, but the real killer was yet to come. Behind the scenes, another factor was working against Boeing's pitch. BA had a strong preference for Rolls-Royce engines across its fleet. Made sense Rolls-Royce was British, and BA took pride in supporting UK aerospace manufacturing. Unions and the government would have also been very unhappy with a different choice. The 747-8i came with only one engine option: GE Aerospace's GEnx engines. Excellent engines, proven reliable, shared with the 787 program, but they weren't Rolls-Royce. For the 747-8i, Boeing opted for the simplicity of an exclusive engine provider. Rolls-Royce lobbying, backed by UK industrial interests, likely reinforced BA's preference for Rolls-Royce-powered 787s and A350s over the GE-only 747-8i. This wasn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it was another factor pushing BA toward aircraft like the 787 and A350, both offering Rolls-Royce options that aligned with BA's fleet philosophy. Boeing was losing this battle on multiple fronts. Instead of 747-8, BA committed to a completely different philosophy. The Boeing 77 became its main long-haul workhorse. Efficiently sized, incredibly reliable, capable of serving virtually any destination with excellent economics, the Boeing 787 family gave them flexible mid-size capacity, perfect for thinner routes or frequency increases with revolutionary fuel efficiency. The Airbus A380 rounded out the strategy with modern, ultra-efficient twin-engine technology. This lineup gave BA exactly what it needed: a streamlined, cost-efficient fleet with no operational complexity from maintaining multiple engine types. There simply wasn't room for a small subfleet or four-engine aircraft. The 747-8I would have been an expensive orphan, too few aircraft to achieve maintenance economies, too complex to fit seamlessly into operations. BA had evolved beyond the 747. Boeing had not. BA's rejection proved catastrophic for the entire 747-8I program. The final tally, just 48 passenger 747-8I built. 36 sold to only 3 airlines: Lufthansa, Air China, and Korean Air. Without BA, Emirates, United, or any other 747 operators, the program never gained industry momentum. United Airlines, another major 747 operators with roughly 5,747,000, also rejected the 747-8I, choosing 777s and 787s instead. Here's why these rejections were so costly for Boeing. When the world's largest 747 operators publicly rejected the 747-8I, it sent shockwaves throughout the industry. If BA and United wouldn't buy it, why should anyone else? Boeing seized 747-8I passenger production by 2020 with no new orders after 2017. The entire 747 program concluded in 2023 after more than 50 years of production. Meanwhile, BA retired its last 747-400s in 2020 with CO-19 accelerating their departure. Today, the carrier's long-haul fleet consists of exactly what they planned: A380s for ultra capacity, 777s for backbone routes, 787s for flexibility, and A35100s for demanding services. Looking back, BA's decision appears absolutely prescient. They avoided being trapped with orphaned aircraft that would have been expensive to maintain and impossible to deploy efficiently. For aviation enthusiasts, BA's rejection represented a missed opportunity. Those magnificent aircraft painted in retro BOAC livery, or elegant lander schemes, or sophisticated colors. BA's final 747-400S did carry these heritage liveries, creating some of the most beautiful aircraft ever photographed. The thought of 747-8I wearing those same iconic colors was a dream. Enthusiasts dreamed of 747-8I in BA's iconic lander or BOAC liveries, but executives driven by spreadsheets saw no future for 4INE jets. But airlines aren't run by aviation enthusiasts. They're run by people who understand that beautiful liveries don't pay bills if the underlying economics don't work. Boeing couldn't convince British Airways because ultimately the 747-8I was an aircraft designed for an airline world that no longer existed. Hey, before you go, the YouTube algorithm thinks you're going to like this video next, so why not check it out?